The United States has expressed concern over Israel's plans to build new housing units in Har Homa, Jerusalem. A statement issued by the State Department warned that such unilateral actions were detrimental to the peace process. Last week, the Interior Ministry's District Planning and Building Committee gave its final approval to build 930 housing units in a new neighborhood in Har Homa, 2 years after it was first initiated. Differences on Jerusalem should be settled in negotiations between Israel and the Palestinians, the State Department said. Both sides should agree on an outcome that realizes the aspirations for Jerusalem while safeguarding its unique religious status, the department said. European Union Foreign Policy Chief Catherine Ashton also expressed her disapproval, saying she was profoundly disappointed by the approval of the new neighborhood, which damages prospects for peace. Anti-normalization elements in Jordan are threatening economic and diplomatic ties with Israel, sources in Jerusalem said. In recent months there's been a worrying increase in those who oppose ties with Israel and threaten to jeopardize economic ties between the two countries. Examples of the anti-Israeli sentiment in the Hashemite Kingdom include the recent decision of a Jordanian insurance company who said it was no longer able to insure the cars of Israeli embassy personnel in Amman. The company said it was forced to cut ties with Israel due to the increasing pressure of anti-normalization forces. The sources also noted that the Jordanian press has increased its anti-Israeli sentiment, noting an article this week that appeared on the Amon News Service website, where it referred to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as a criminal. It also described Israel as a snake and Zionists as despicable, obnoxious group of people. There has also been a marked decrease in agricultural products exported to Jordan since the beginning of the year, due to pressure placed on Jordanian businessmen who receive the products. Turkey's Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan said he hoped Syria would initiate reforms within 15 days and said his Foreign Minister Ahmet Davutoglu gave a clear message to Damascus demanding it halt the bloodshed. On Tuesday, the Turkish Foreign Minister met with Syria's President Bashar Assad for 6 hours, urging him to halt the ongoing attacks on civilians. Despite pressure from one of Syria's closest allies, Assad said he will continue to pursue terror groups causing the unrest. On Wednesday, Syrian tanks stormed Taftanaz and Sermin near the border with Turkey, killing at least 1 woman and injuring 13. Meanwhile, in Deir ez-Zor, the Syrian security forces seized control of the town they've been operating in since the beginning of the week. Israel's army has agreed to allow those suffering from attention deficit hyperactivity disorder to join combat units. Due to the increased number of draftees diagnosed with ADHD, the Army's Medical Corps released new criteria which will allow draftees to enlist in combat units. Those suffering from the disorder will still be required to undergo medical evaluations prior to their enlistment, and only if the condition is found to impair the draftees' functioning will they be exempt from serving in combat units. The purpose of the change is to make clear that there are good medications nowadays for ADHD which are common treatments and some of them are long-term. Only if a soldier is not performing well on medication is there justification to reduce their medical assessment, Colonel Dr. Eyal Prokhta, chief of the Army's Mental Health Bureau, said. Some 51,000 Israelis under the age of 18 are diagnosed with ADHD. Internet, mobile phone service and landlines were mysteriously cut off in the Gaza Strip areas, sparking fear of a pending Israeli offensive. Late Tuesday night, telecommunications were severed in many areas, affecting multiple platforms, the MAN news agency reported. In some areas, access to Israeli internet servers remained online and people with BlackBerry mobile phones were able to communicate. Residents feared the communications breakdown signified an Israeli invasion in the Gaza Strip was underway, the International Middle East Media Center said. The cause of the blackout is unclear, however some Palestinians reported spotting Israeli bulldozers operating near northern Gaza shortly before the blackout occurred. A military spokesman, however, denied the claims. Technicians at the Palestinian mobile phone company Jawal said it had received complaints from customers, but were unable to explain what caused the problem.